Okay, so I'm back with another Sega Genesis project that I just got done with. And I know it's kind of gross, but I vibe coded it because it was just quick and easy to make. So um, I'll split this video into two parts. I'm going to just show you the program real quick, maybe give a brief explanation of it, and then I'm going to go into more of a deep dive afterwards. So if you're interested in the deep dive, then stick around, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about how it works and how you can build this on your own, because I'm going to publish the files. So without further ado, I should go and just show it. So this is an audio visualizer program, and I have these Sega Genesis chip tunes. And this is really cool. The reason why is I've never seen this before, and I've always really wanted to have one of these to where I can play a song and actually see a visualization of it. I don't just want to hear the song. I want to pop this up on my TV and I want to see stuff moving around, you know? So, there are also, there's another song in here. And these are covers by Savage Regime. If you like Sega Genesis music, you should definitely go check them out. There's a little bit of a bug that you might have heard right there if you're familiar with the song. I think there's something wrong with the timing, or I think they mentioned time signatures with XGM files. So anyways, that's the gist of it. I'm just showing that off. So I'm going to publish the code and everything so that other people can build this as well with whatever songs they want to bake into it. Now I'm going to go into the deep dive. So if you want to see a little bit more, then I'm going to show that off. But if you couldn't care less, I'm about to literally bore you to death. So please don't like make yourself suffer. So the way that this works, the idea that I had was, if you've ever seen these audio visualizers before, essentially what they are is they're showing you the frequency, the intensity of the frequency throughout the spectrum, right? So when you're playing this, this is the lower end, and this is more intense than the high end right here. Okay, so these are your lower bass frequencies, these are your higher frequencies, and it's split up into like 15 different bars, okay? So the way that you can do that is by using something called fast Fourier transform, and this was sort of the secret weapon that I had, that kind of like, because I was out driving around listening to Sega Genesis music, and I'm like, if you pre-compute FFT data for the whole song, then you could just sync it to the VGM file, and that's what I told Claude to do, and that's why I was able to actually get it to work pretty quickly, because I already had the idea of, well, you know, basically what you could do is generate this FFT file and then sync it up with the soundtrack, because I already knew I had the tools for playing VGM files. So essentially you go from time domain to frequency domain. And so if you're looking at this, this is right here, when you're looking at this frequency domain part right here, that's what you're seeing right here. Whenever you see a visualizer, this is what it looks like. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just pop this open real quick just to show you a little bit of, like, if I publish this, I want you to be able to at least have a basic understanding of, like, how do I load my own songs in. So number one, you're going to need your song in MP3 format. There's a lot of different ways to do that. You can use a tracker. There's different conversion tools that you could take a VGM file and turn it into an MP3. The easiest way is if it's a song that's already publicly available, or if the artist puts the music out. Like, for instance, I'm a patron of Savage Regime, so I can get a hold of these VGM files that they created that are covers of other songs. So you get that MP3 file, and then I have another utility that will convert. So on my desktop, I have it over here somewhere. But anyways, it's just called FFTgen. So FFTgen.exe right here will allow for you to convert an MP3 file into an FFT file. And it uses FFmpeg behind the scenes to do that. That's another program that I had Claude. So the first thing is I told Claude, I need a program that can take an MP3 file and give me some series of FFT data that I could then sync to a Genesis track. And this program uses the SGDK, like I mentioned. So without dragging on too long, you have a songs folder, you put your songs in there, then, and your FFT files. So you can see I have song1 FFT, I have song1.vgm, and song1 XGM. I only need the XGM. In order to get the XGM from a VGM file, you can use the XGM utility. So if I go to, yeah, it's called XGM tool. And so you feed XGM tool the song to, or whatever song it is, .vgm, and you tell it where to output the XGM, and then it'll do it for you. Okay, so once you have your XGM and you have your FFT file, that's all you need. Then you will go over to your resources file, resources rs or res, and then you specify each of your resource files. If you don't have two songs, it would look like this. Okay. And it's important that this is prefaced with XGM and bin. This is a binary file. This is an XGM file. They're both binary data, but anyways. Then what you'll do is you'll use a tool called rescomp. And what rescomp does, so you just say, because you have to have Java on your machine for the SGDK, you say java-jar, point it to the rescomp jar in the SGDK bin folder, and then you feed it the resources rs file that we're looking at right here. It will read this file, and it will say, okay, in the songs folder, there's a song1 XGM and there's a song1 FFT file. And now I'm going to bake those. So it's going to create this resources header file. Okay. And then it's going to, and now you can see where it specifies each of these arrays of data. They're just U8 array. And then you have this resources.s file that is actually all of your binary data of each resource. And then you can load these at runtime. So if you go to main.c now, so once you have your resources.s built and your resources header file built, you go over to your main C file, and you're going to see at the very top of the file nearly, so you're just going to scroll down a little bit, and you're going to see a song table array. You're going to put the name of the song, the corresponding XGM resource name. So if you go back over here, this is the resource name. This is the corresponding file that's going to get turned into this resource. Okay? And so if we go back over here, you can see, again, this is your XGM resource. This is your FFT resource. If I didn't have two songs in here, you know, it would look like this. The last one in this commented out. Okay? So really, this is what it currently looks like. I have Toxic Caves and I have Terran 3. And so that's it. From there, you would just go ahead and build it. So in order to build it, you would just run the SGDK make exe that's in the bin folder, and then you would point that to the makefile.gen and the SGDK as well. And you do that all inside the root of this FFT Genesis project. Okay, that'll build you your ROM, and then you can load your ROM up. You can load it into an emulator, you can load it onto a flash cart, whatever you want to do. So that's a little bit of a deep dive. Okay, I will go into a further tutorial if somebody really wants me to, just absolutely step by step, command by command, and make you a readme.md file so that you can understand how to put all of this together and build yourself your own ROMs based on this code project. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope it wasn't too much of a bore. If you're not familiar with programming, I do have another project in mind that I think I'm going to work on, which is going to be essentially a plug-and-play utility, or not plug-and-play, but out-of-the-box experience for anybody to just download it, load in their files, hit go, and get a ROM back. Like, I don't want you to have to go through compiling it every time that you want to make a new playlist. It's tedious, and unless you have experience with at least working with the command line, or maybe compiling things or things of that nature, because you don't need to know how to program in order to do any of this. You just need some basic literacy with this, and you can get away with building this. However, like I said, if this is really out of left field for you, I totally understand, and I'm gonna try to build you a project so that you can make these ROM files for yourself without having to go through this um, tedious, kind of painful process. But anyways, I'm glad that you checked it out. I hope that you got a kick out of it. I really like it, and I'm gonna have this going in my game room. Just like have this up on the TV, playing tracks and enjoying it. So thanks for checking it out. Hope you liked it. Let me know if I haven't published it yet. Bug me, comment. I will see it. So just say something, and I will get those files to you. I promise. So thanks for checking it out.